what are you going to do with your sin when you stand before a holy God? Nietzsche's not going to help you, and Hinduism isn't going to help you either. You can believe anything you want, and you can be wrong. You can be sincerely wrong and be sincere. All right, with that, let's go to Jason. Jason, you're on.
Hi there. I wanted to talk to you about some of your evidence for scientific creationism and for a creator.
Sure.
Okay, well, basically, I wanted to know why you think it's a superior theory to evolution.
Well, I don't see any evidence for evolution. You should see evolution occurring not only in man, but in every animal, every plant, every insect, all the time. If it really was happening, you would see it happening everywhere, and we don't see it occurring. They've done experiments on like 3,000 generations of fruit flies, exposed them to radiation, and they've gotten nothing, no evolution. They've gotten deformed fruit flies. You look in the fossil record, you see complete functional creatures there, trapped, fossilized by the flood in the layers of the earth, which, by the way, goes with the Bible as well. Complex, living creatures with eyes and feathers and bones and organs, and you don't find any transitional forms. When I say that, would be in evolution, you would have one species turning into another, like the arm, a fin turning into an arm turning into a wing. We see none of that. We see complete functional creatures, and so there is no evidence for evolution, but there is great evidence for creation and a designer and a creator. The design itself, like I spoke about before, the great super program in the zygote that creates a human being, or the design of the eye that takes photons and turns it into electrical impulses. You just don't find a supercomputer on the ground and say, well, that just evolved by accident. It's illogical.
That's the argument of finding a watch on a beach
It's
and saying
even
it must
more
be made by a
complex.
watchmaker?
Well, it's even more complex than a watch.
Definitely. Okay, well, would you say that something so complex as a human being must be created by a creator, correct?
Right.
Okay, then what's the creator created by?
He's eternal.
Okay.
The fact is, something cannot come out of nothing, therefore something... do you think something comes out of nothing?
No, but I mean,
Okay,
by the same
but
argument, you could say then the creator didn't just come out of...
Well, no, something that cannot come out of nothing, but something is here. So obviously something always was.
Well, isn't it as easily to say that the universe just is, instead of having to create a creator that created
That
the
would
universe?
mean that matter is eternal, or matter created itself. Both are illogical and defies the laws of physics. Why can't we ever make life in the test tube or in... we've tried and tried and tried. You cannot get life from non-life. It's you know,
well,
people need to go back to the drawing board.
And we're apparently not, our intelligence isn't complex enough to create life. The thing is...
So you admit that it would take a pretty high intelligence to make life?
So you just
Certainly,
admitted
certainly.
that there's a creator.
So,
or a very long time of an intelligent process of natural selection.
Wait, your contradiction. First of all of a sudden, see, that's what evolutionists do. They say, well, a very long time, somehow that makes you more intelligent. Well, the law of information theory, I don't know if you've read anything about it, shows it's impossible to create information.
To create information?
That's right. From like if you had just a small, simple cell, how it's going to create more information. You can divide the cell up, but it still has the same information. And time does not make it any more smarter. It just doesn't do that.
But it can have a greater complexity. You can start with a small piece of information, and it will increase in complexity.
No,
How is that?
That's never happened.
Look at a snowflake.
It's never occurred.
Well,
Look at a snowflake. What you have there is called a fractal repetition.
no,
start
what
with a
you
small
have,
amount
what you
and
have
give it
is
a
the
method.
laws.
that is not information. You're mixing categories. That is ice crystals being frozen with a molecular structure of water already in there in the intelligent design. And see, you're mixing up what the intelligent creator has already put there. It didn't get there by itself. See, what you do is use all these fallacies. First you say there's no intelligence, and then all of a sudden we hop from that to great intelligence everywhere, doing all these things, and you said that makes more intelligence.
I never said there was no intelligence. I just said that I don't believe there's a single being with
therefore,
the
intelligence is intangible, right?
I'd say intelligence does not require a being to possess that intelligence.
Okay, well, what we say is that
You think
evolution,
intelligence is a substance?
evolution, is, as we just see in discussing with you, has a vast amount of problems. One thing is, time does not help you out in any way whatsoever. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't make anything more complex, does not give you more intelligence. All it does is take it out of the realm of science. And that's what you say is science.
I would agree with that.
It's a theory based on faith. Faith without evidence. It's the evolutionist that's religious. It's the evolutionist that's based on faith. Our faith is based on evidence, scientific evidence. We see mankind, we see design, we see creation, we see the manuscript, archaeology, probability, statistics. You name it, there's facts. The information in the DNA, just the simple DNA, is, I think they've estimated it's like 1,000 books with 500 pages of the smallest readable print. That's how much information's in there. Now, to say that this, by just some chemicals coming together, is just going to form this kind of complexity is like saying a dictionary would form from an explosion in a print shop. It's that much of a leap.
What you have is a process of natural selection that gives a model for
who made the process? Who made the laws by which the process followed?
Natural selection. Why did the shark survive?
Why does the shark survive? Because it's apparently fit biologically to.
I mean, what evidence you have that it's the fittest?
The fittest. Well, obviously, it's survived for a long time, and due to fossil records, it's been around.
Oh, I see. So you're proving that it's the fittest, that it survived.
I'm not proving that.
Well, you said that because it survived, it's the fittest. You're using circular. Sorry, you're using circular reasoning.
It survived because it survived. What about the peacock, the deadly peacock?
I'm not a big fan of biology. I'll tell you that, and I'm not one to argue evolution. But I surmise that peacocks have survived because they did not have any natural predators in the ecosystem.
I think cats would love to eat peacocks.
They have little bitty shrimp that go into big mouths of fish that have sharp teeth and clean their teeth. Now, how could that evolve into... Evolution is just a fairy tale for adults. And everybody knows that. Even Holt, that had the steady state theory, even him and Rob Bradenshine, the great mathematician in the London Times, used to have the article, came to the conclusion that it's impossible. It's outside the realm of probability. The mathematician said you put 10 with 40,000 zeros on it before even one peptide could ever come together. The thing is that you have to have a protein to make a protein.
That's still a far cry from a membrane on a cell. You have a membrane, a nucleus, all its parts, and like what David's saying, in a cell or a complex human being or animal or insect, everything has to work at once or it doesn't work.
And then have the information and the
guide
has
to all work.
And the genetic blueprint and all that stuff. And what happened is that evolutionists have taken quantum leaps in logic and then just start out that way. I mean, illogical. It's maddening to me. Even when I wasn't saved, didn't know Christ, sitting in high school and then in university, I was going, you guys really can't believe this stuff. You actually don't believe this, and they actually do. And it's their faith, it's their religion. If you attack it, well, they hate it.
Well, there's a lot of faith involved with it, and I'll tell you that. The only thing I like about evolution is that it's a theory that is much more simple.
And you don't have to be accountable. You don't have to be accountable to God. No, the reason man comes up with evolution is because he wants to explain God away, because he doesn't want to be accountable to God. He doesn't want to bend the knee to Jesus Christ. Why? Because we want to be the big cheese. We want to do our own thing. We don't want to submit to a creator God because, as the Bible tells us, we're prideful and we're rebellious.
So I'd like to make a couple comments on this. First off, you've already granted that something is eternal, and you're going to say that it's a universe, and you've granted that there's evidence for intelligence in the world. Now, which view is more simple, to believe that there's an eternal cause of the finite creation, or to believe that there's this bodiless, personless intelligence that's guiding the whole closed system of the universe? What we see is that when we look at the world, we have a world that evidences intelligence, but yet the world itself does not explain the origin of that intelligence. The world is finite, the world is limited, the world is moving, the world is changing, the universe is expanding. All of these are evidences of change and finitude. So we, of necessity, are forced to an eternal, uncaused being.
We're out of time, Jason. We thank you for your call. We wish we could get to more callers.